Hi everybody, this is Larry from BostonConcession.com. I just thought I would make up this video to show how the plumbing systems work in our smaller units. Larger units may be very similar but might have different sized tanks or other attributes. So this video will be used by the owner of this concession later to determine what's what and where everything goes and whatnot. We try to do this pretty often, and if we're going to do it, we figure we'll put it out there and we'll let all you people that are winging it have some free information on how to set up your own concessions. So first we'll start with water tanks, fresh and waste. Most states want 15% larger waste tank than freshwater tank. That's in case you're dumping things down the sink, sodas and whatnot. You don't overfill it. So you're going to need your water tanks. You're going to need to fill your water tanks. So in this we have a spigot attached to a hose. That hose will follow to here. Will follow to here, and this is a T. So one end of it goes up and in to the water tank so that the spigot can fill the water tank. It goes into that T right there, and as it progresses lower, when it comes down this area, all of that, this whole area in here are all ports for emptying the water system. So I'm trying to give you a better view of that. This whole bar here and everything tying into it ultimately goes down and outside so that you can drain your unit. You can also drain on an interior setup like this one. So you have you have your external drain going out, or what you'll use to put into canisters or whatever you're emptying. Then you have everything progressively tapering down to this spot. There are valves which close everything off until you want to drain it. So what you have here is your pump, and here is your line on each side of the pump. It's important that this line goes back into the drain from each side of your pump, so that when you want to, you can open up these valves and drain both sides of the water pump. If you don't do that, all the water's not going to come out of it. So then you have pardon me, then you have this water line which comes up and feeds the cold water to the sink here. We'll turn that on. Okay, so we have that line coming up and feeding the cold water to the sink. Now this line's running copper. Why is that? This line comes from your hot water heater and goes to your sink. If you try and do that in braided line, the braided line's going to melt, and it'll be pretty immediate. So all lines running to your from your water heater to whatever, in this case sinks, must be copper. And then we have that copper continuing down into our drains. Now typically for draining, you can attach the drain portion of this to the softer line, because at least in our unit you can, because you can turn off the hot water heater when you're draining it. It's a instant hot water heater, so there's no storage tank. So you can just flip it off so that it's not running, and you can just empty the line. And the minimal amount of water that may still be in the line will cool in a few moments, and we suggest you let it do that. So only copper lines from the water heater to the fixtures, and you can feed, like we are here, you can feed the water heater in soft line, cold water. So every single hose that you see in here, everything will ultimately end up in these ports. I'm trying to get a good view of it. Everything will end up in these ports to go out of the unit, and there'll be valves, assorted valves around, which will stay closed when the unit is in use, as will the drain for the water tank. So when it's time to go at the end of the day, particularly in the winter, you'll open up these 4 valves. This valve, the drains from tanks and sinks and faucets and whatnot, the drains from water heaters and related lines, and this port down here, which ultimately will drain everything, including the incoming spigot. So when you open these valves at the end of the day, this entire unit is going to drain out. For now, what we've done to test the system is we've just hooked up a typical braided line to circumvent where the heater would go. So to get an idea, I'll show you as well. I'm running this on a battery for a screw gun. They work great, and they push a lot of water. I like a SureFlow pump, S-H-U-R-F-L-O. SureFlow pumps are a standard. They're a really good pump. I'd recommend it. So again, you've got to have braided lines, not the soft white lines, for your hot water, no matter what. And then if we just open this up, I have it going in the bucket for now. We open that up. I mean, that's a lot of water pressure we're talking about here. So in the standard unit, what you're seeing here is you're seeing a 6-gallon fresh, 9-gallon waste, which is a standard in our smaller units, and it's plenty for the typical day in a hot dog vending type of an environment. So this entire little area is something in our unit which it's an option, can be completely removable. You can detach it with the water heater and everything and walk right into the home with it if you choose, or it can be built in. Leaving it built in is much more cost effective because it's an awful lot less trouble to build. But it is pretty nice to be able to pull out the entire unit. One reason for that is that if you decide later that you want more than 1 or 2 sinks, you change what you're doing and whatnot, you can contact us and we can ship you a whole new sink unit with more sinks in it, fewer sinks in it, whatever you'd like to do. So we've been trending toward making our unit easier to update at a later date. In addition to some other things that we're doing, this system is part of it. So we'll be buttoning this whole thing up. There'll be a panel that covers everything. There'll be a stainless top on it with a stainless sink in it. Not all the units get a stainless sink. We often do integral fiberglass sinks. They're perfectly nice for hand washing and cursory dishes, things of that nature, and little hot dog things. So check with us if you're considering building your own concession and you don't feel like getting into all of this. Sometimes, not all the time, we are willing to build a few of these out and ship them to people who are just trying to get in business, and they're doing the best with what they've got. So drop us a note. Otherwise, this is what you're looking to do. You're looking to make sure that every single thing on the right and on the left and in every way has a valve that you can open and entirely drain every line, every tank, everything. Our units always have that because our units are built for year-round use and are intended to be used in the winter as well in the summer. So thanks for visiting BostonConcession.com. If this information has been of help to you, there's a little like button. I'd appreciate it if you click it just to your left under this video. Buy American. I'll thank you for doing so, regardless what you're buying. We can all pull all this back together. It's our country. Regardless what the government does, you have a choice. Every time you spend $1, you make a vote. My vote is, in every instance I can, I buy something that was made in America. If you do the same, collectively, we can all make it better for everybody. Okay, thanks for visiting. We appreciate you stopping by Boston Concession and checking out our unit. More to come. Goodbye